The Say Something podcast is brought to you by amomentwithmorris.com and blackblueprints.com. That's blackblueprints with a Z.com. I'm Jermaine Morris here with the one and only Mr. Barry Accius.
Yes, sir.
We are bringing you the newest episode of the Say Something podcast.
Say something.
It's where we get together, talk about everything going on out here in the life and the world out here in these streets.
In these cold street heats. Yeah.
First Say Something podcast of 2019.
19. We in the building. 18 was good and 19 is going to only be better.
Bringing you episode number 74.
I thought it was episode number 100, no?
Not yet.
We're close, baby.
One step at a time. And so this special episode dedicated, as always we like to do, that it's important that we tell our own stories, that we celebrate our own people, and that we tell our own narratives and not just let what we want to be said about us, that we...
A moment of black excellence.
That's it. Well, we hoist up our own heroes because we can't expect everybody else to do it.
Because they ain't.
They just might not. And so this goes out to a sister. She's gone on. She's passed on to greener pastures. She's one of the ancestors now. She was born in July 1931. Mm-hmm. And she passed in 2017, so recently it's left us.
Okay.
And she was a jazz gospel singer. She was an actress. She was also an ordained minister. Mm. Her father was a steel worker, and her mother was a Native American cook, Cherokee tribe. And as a young girl, she used to sing in the church, like many of us on the come up. She was six when she started singing in the church, and she just really took to it. Like she had a strong voice, and she was just really, really smart. And so by the time she was 13, she started singing with Mahalia Jackson's gospel group.
Okay.
If you don't know who that is, for the young folks out there, look up Queen Mahalia Jackson. And when her mom used to take her to a movie theater, she could watch a movie in the theater and then come home and reenact the parts. Mm. So like old Joan Collins, Betty Davis, all those movies, she could redo all those lines when she got back home with her mom. Real smart. She went through school. She graduated with top grades at 15 from high school. Mm. Went on to Wayne University. She was still singing in the meanwhile. Her family issues had her drop out of college, so she had to come back home and support the family. But all the while she was singing, all through the 50s and 60s, kind of getting her movement forward. And singing with Mahalia Jackson got her a good lead. She was somebody who's noted about, she was Oprah before Oprah. So she had her own TV show in 1969. It had 197 episodes. She was the first black woman to guest host the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. In her time, in her career, she was in like 30 TV movies, like 30 television series where she had featured on. Mainstream, they gave her Hollywood Walk of Fame. She's been Image Award, NAACP, Emmy, Grammy nominated, all of that. For the greater society, she was most known for her role on TV series called Touched by an Angel. Mm. But for us, a lot of us know her when she played opposite Martin Lawrence in A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. The Royal Family with Red Fox, but most notably with Richard Pryor, Red Fox, and Eddie Murphy as Vera in Harlem Nights. Mm-hmm. So show some love, rest in peace to one Miss Della Reese.
Yes, Della. She was hilarious in Harlem Nights.
You gonna learn
today
to respect
me. I thought you said we was gonna get our little sound effects.
We'll work on that later.
Okay.
Yeah, she was tough.
Yeah, she was definitely
very intelligent woman, very talented, but that was a woman who was serious about her business and carried herself in a way that just commanded respect.
Yes, sir. It is so many great moments that you bring out to us in the moment of black excellence. We appreciate you, brother, because I definitely get people telling me like, I never knew that. I never knew that person. I never knew we did that. So continue to bring it on.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's important that we tell our stories and hold our folks up. And we can't just sit around saying, well, whenever society decides that they want to say, February coming up, Black History Month, they want
to celebrate it all.
These are the 5 people that we want y'all to talk about next month.
And that's all we're going to do. I mean, and that's what it becomes that. And it's just, hopefully we kind of exist in our own greatness without someone telling us that we're great. And by me saying that, I want to say Black Panther cast and Black Panther moviegoers, regardless of what the Golden Globes didn't give to y'all y'all know that y'all winners, because that fuckery that just happened, and I don't watch it. I don't know why we continue to wait on it. Grammys, Oscars, Golden Globe, whatever awards that these Europeans want to put in front of us and act as if we're supposed to, be hailed by their glory for their white acceptance or their white approval. Now we finally made it to the mainstream because now we've got an award that is kind of like saying you're part of the good boy committee. It's just a travesty. And it continues to be that because, this movie was nominated, I think, for like 12 awards and didn't get anything. So it was like, oh, okay, here we
Biggest
go again.
Movie of the year.
Yeah. All right. So it's just kind of like continue to understand what we're saying as we say something, and that Say Something shirts are going to be coming out this year. We promise. I keep on people asking me when you guys will come up with those shirts. We're going to have them. I promise. We're going to give some giveaways. We're just going to give them out for free.
Yeah.
It's going to be on our chat. But going back to that whole Black Panther thing, it just kind of lines up to a lot of the different things of why we have to control and create our own narrative and, continue to be in our Black excellence and speak to the moments of it. And it was funny. Somebody on my Facebook said, well, we still have the Oscars. So it's kind of like, oh, let's try again. And my thing is like, create your own.
We did, and we didn't support it. The Image Awards, the all that stuff.
I think those the Image Awards. So, but it's not to the gratitude.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't celebrate them that way.
We don't
like we'll sit there and say, "We'll break our necks to be nominated to go to the Grammys," but then all our major stars pass on the BET Awards, the Image Awards, all the stuff that we do.
Our award shows don't lack the prestige as these other award shows, and that becomes, to me, the most difficult situation to understand why individuals feel that until white people approve of them, they have not made it. And that continues to be our Achilles heel, to wait for white acceptance. And, we're never going to be able to be groundbreaking individuals or a group if we continue to wait and enslave ourselves just to feel accepted by their European awards, by their European accolades, and kind of brush off the things that we create for our own selves. Because if we did that, I mean, we keep the party lit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, this conservative ass kind of, and as you watch a lot of these award shows, they've become a little bit more hip, a little bit more out there because they see that there's a newer trend. But I just hope one day niggas will feel and realize that, our brash ring is not going to be dealing and winning an Oscar and being told that you were the first black person. If I hear that shit again, I swear to God, I'm going to scream, because that's what you constantly hear. In 2019, we're still talking about the first black. That's a scary situation.
Yeah. Well, as to no award being given for it, but there is a congratulations to be had on this side to the success of this past weekend.
Oh, yes.
The 5th annual, for the 5th Voice of the Youth, Look Good, Feel Good, Do Good community.
Man, let's give it up. Shouts out to my partner in crime who actually created this idea with me, Destiny Hayes, a.k.a. D. Hayes, from Sister Serving Sack. But, of course, the rest of the team, yourself, Passion, Dina, Kayla, you got Dana, Gino, and then, of course, our youth squad, the whole team that came together. And this was the first time that actually the whole team was a part of this one event, because we've done it.
Somebody who's not quite sure, what is the event based around?
Basically, it's based around a community makeover. We was giving out free haircuts, health exams. The beauticians were getting the young women beautified, doing nails, makeup, eyebrows, and the young men, of course, getting their haircuts. And then we had a great dance performance, dance competition. We added that, and there's different vendors over there, letting people know what's in the community to be able to service them. And it was just a night of fun, free food, free gifts, great dance show. My nephew, breaking it down out that way. And it just was something that I embodied the idea of what it could be. But because of all of the recent kind of activities that have happened over the weekend of, Christmas or after Christmas, it kind of had a lot of Sacramento wanting to say we need to do something for the community.
Yeah.
And so it was a community pop-up that we did, and happened to be that one of our major events that we do for Voice of the Youth was this. So we combined that together, and it was a home run for sure.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, we'll call it congratulations to be had. The success of the Look Good, Feel Good, Do Good community pop-up in Sacramento. But also, we don't even say congratulations because it was a travesty that ever happened to begin with. But acknowledge.
Thank you, White Jesus.
Whoa.
I'm just saying, thank you, White Jesus, as we going to do it.
Thank you to the people who were involved. Thank you to
Yes.
Sean King, who spearheaded a major campaign for her release.
Was it Sean King that
He was really big on.
I thought it was
on
the people
pushing
in Tennessee that was really pushing it heavy.
Maybe they were the spearhead at the beginning, but his national exposure is what got more people.
He always will get the credit because he's Sean King.
Yeah, and so he, in any event, all those who were involved, because the win is the win.
Yeah.
And so of a young,
I did my part. I did my part too.
Yeah, for a young lady who shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with, going to be allowed to come home after serving 15 years for what they deemed as the murder of.
So she actually did 15 years.
15. Yeah, she's 30 now. So, so she gets to come home. Centoya Brown, who was, she was 16 years old, where she was more or less sold to a man to be used, abused, prostituted, pretty much do whatever he felt like doing to her. And ultimately, she shot him in the head in his sleep, took guns, money, and took the truck and boned out. Well, when the police caught up with her, they said that this was not a case of self-defense, that this was a money-motivated robbery.
Wow.
And so they got her for robbery. We told her she was supposed to do 50-plus years for the murder of this man who had sexually abused her physically, emotionally, spiritually, pimped her out, everything that you can think of, horrific circumstances that she had to deal with. And they're finally letting her out. So she's still got to do a little time. She's going to still be in there for I think, till August. I think they'll let her out. And then they're attaching a decade of probation. But I think in her situation, she'll go ahead and take that dime of probation to get to come home. Though she shouldn't have probation attached to that because it wasn't a murder situation anyway. But in any event, it's good that she get to come home and try to build somewhat of a life.
Oh, she's gonna be good.
Well, I'm talking about that's a lot of psychological work that's going to need to be done.
But the bottom line is, there's definitely
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, and the reality is, you're right. I mean, I think that in or out, she's gonna have to deal with that. But the beautiful part about it is that, because her story has been sensationalized, the story has been in the media. There was a whole campaign. Like I said, I did my part by making sure that the little that I could do is to push the story on my social media pages and get people activated on our side, just to kind of campaign the way we need to, and the way a lot more people should when things like this happen. To say free her, right? To clemency, she deserves that. Looking at the story, I'm still in shock she did 15 years. Like, literally. I think that I remember looking at a picture of her, and I thought that the story, as I was, looking at it, was that she kind of just recently, got locked up, but she did 15 years.
Yeah.
That's just, to me, it speaks volumes to our justice system, but it also speaks volumes to the wording and the rhetoric and the understanding that people have to know that though you and I look at it clearly to say that motherfucker deserved what he got, the law speaks different. And when the law speaks different, what it does, it literally speaks from a black and white lens. It takes people that are courageous, a prosecutor, a DA, a judge,
this place a governor.
Yeah, not only that, but just people on the jury to kind of look at it in a perspective of, check us out. Yeah, she was getting pimped out. There were some other things going on.
Yeah.
Because just hearing the fact that she was a sex slave, right, and a sex worker for this guy, this older gentleman, would have been already said, okay, I get it. Regardless of, what she took. Of course she's going to take money. How is she going to survive?
Yeah, she just shot somebody. She's on the run.
So, of course she's going to take some money. And the simple fact that,
first, because she earned it.
Whether you want to try to argue if, she was robbing him, she has gotten robbed from her innocence.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at that. The volume of consciousness that some people lack is she got robbed of her innocence. She got robbed of her youth. So when you talk about a robbery, let's look at the robbery that happened where this young girl can never get those days of being a young girl. I could imagine my daughter being stripped of her youth. So those things that now she has to deal with, just learning how to trust, just learning how to be able to take the love that people are going to give her, that she's not being able to be, that she's not going to be used to, because guess what? Someone that told her they loved her was the abuser. Someone that said he was going to take care of her was the abuser. So now you're going to have every single person in a social media kind of world in your business wanting to get interviews. I say she'll be good because as far as the notoriety, she'll be able to make a bang for a buck. But it also could be a situation like the young brother that got out of Rikers and was in there for a long term, and it was really for nothing, how he ended up killing himself because he could not handle all of the lights, cameras, and action.
That's the stuff I'm talking about, because she went from that horrific environment to prison. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of healing that's going to need to take place. But at least she's going to be on the right path to start moving in the proper direction.
And we hope that for her, because it's a story of triumph. It's really a story of redemption, and it's a story you can build off to help other young girls. We're hoping that psychologically she can stay focused, and there's a lot of great people around her that really can love on her and not just use her for a story, use her for ratings, and manipulate her. Because the unfortunate thing about it is that's what people are going to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just, this whole world is about what you're going to do for me and how you're going to make me some money. So hopefully she doesn't fall into that, and people kind of take it easy on her and not just want to put a microphone and not want to put a camera and just kind of utilize her as a story of the day.
Well, I think that's important that we highlight the people who were involved in really getting her story out and getting her voice heard to help make some change and help her come home and start to rebuild her life. Because those external pieces that's the village, and that's what's necessary to help protect and provide and to be there for each other, because that doesn't always happen.
No.
And there was another particular situation that was in the news where that blatantly didn't happen, where it happened down in St. Petersburg, Florida, where a young sister was working at a McDonald's and she got into what could have, in most cases, would have just been a rude customer complaint call about an employee. Worst case scenario, turned into a physical altercation between herself and a gentleman over a straw.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's all viral. You've seen it, where the customer lunges over the counter and grabs hold of her collar, and then she hit him with that two-piece. The while,
a few two pieces.
Yeah, she was letting
combos.
Yeah, she was about to
Tyson.
It was
Floyd.
It was McDonald's, but she took him to Popeyes
Muhammad
for that
Ali.
two-piece. And I think that sheds some light on somebody you'd like to highlight today.
Oh man, the silly Negros of the week are every single black man, black teenager that sat there, watched or videotaped that young lady putting a two-piece on this white guy that was trying to assault her. I watched the video. I was sick to my stomach, knowing that I have my own daughters, knowing that I'm a man in a community that wouldn't even allow it to get to that extent, because I would have sat there and took off my McDonald's uniform and I would have got at the guy regardless if he was white or if he was black. And just kind of looking at our society and just watching the video, I saw that the young men were actually trying to pull her off, not tacking or trying to pull the white guy off, but was kind of gradually trying to pull her off as she kept on swinging, and the other guy was kind of grab her by the shirt. I was just kind of baffled. And if this is the kind of generation that we have that says that they're about it, that says that they're a little bit more braver than the generation before, that they're going to stand up and step up, this is not not standing up, nor is it stepping up. This is standing down and looking like a clown and being a silly ass Negro and being a coward, because there should be no reason why a woman, a black woman in this day of 2019, should be sitting there fighting a battle by herself when there are brothers right there. I don't give a damn about your McDonald's job. If you have to lose a job, guess what? Carl's Jr. is hiring. Go ahead and help your sister out. I don't give a damn if she did something to you the day before. I don't give a damn if you're sitting there saying, well, I'm paying for some tuition, or I need to make sure that I pay for my car note. You can get another fast food job. There's plenty of them, and there's plenty of them hiring it, and they're popping up everywhere we go. It has to be a point to where black men finally step up and let queens know, sisters know that they are protected. That shit right there was baffling, but I wasn't surprised because it happened in Florida, and all the silly niggas seem to be in Florida. But shouts out to the sister of holding it down, and them clown ass, cornball ass Negroes that sat there and watched it and sat back and just, allow the sister to do her thing. Them Negroes need to get knocked the fuck out. And I'll tell you that on my shift, none of that shit's gonna ever happen. Never will. Sisters know I'm on my job. Whether I lose my life or if I take a few blows, I'm not going to allow any person to disrespect a sister without at least saying something. So, our silly Negroes of the week are any of the black employee males or black men that were just innocent bystanders watching the event. You are silly Negro of the week.
Yeah, because I think that's a trend that we have now. And because I was talking with somebody about it, and they were like, "Oh, these guys, maybe they were afraid to lose their jobs, or maybe they were." I said that might be it. But what I've seen is pattern of behavior, because there was another story that came out recently, if you ever saw the video, where it was a bunch of people at a bus stop, and that this brother walked up on this sister who was sitting there, and they got into a verbal argument, and he slapped her. And so a brother who was just there who wasn't involved in it, he stood up for the sister's behalf. And then he was like, he checked himself because this woman's boyfriend was there, still sitting down. So he goes over to her boyfriend, like, hey, dude, this dude just slapped your woman. Like, you got to fight him now.
Yeah,
like, you got to step up. And the dude was still sitting there. And the guy almost had to make him stand up. Yeah. And so then the guy's still arguing with his girlfriend, and he slaps her a second time.
Cowardly acts.
And so the brother who was sitting on the bench, now he stands up, and the guy says, man, you don't want these problems. And the dude more or less kind of dropped his head because he didn't. And I think that what we have a generation now is that we have those that are fearful. Mm-hmm. And then we have those that it doesn't hit their radar. Like the dude at the bus stop, he didn't want them problems with that dude. Yeah. So whatever his relationship was with this woman, it wasn't worth the ass whooping.
Yeah, but the thing about it was, at least he said something.
Yeah, but but the brothers that were in the McDonald's, I think for some of them, we have young men and older black men who have a disconnect. It doesn't tug at them. Like if a black woman is distressed, if a black woman is being attacked, whether it be verbally or physically, there's not a part of them that feels like I need to do something.
To me, I wanted to jump into the damn screen.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but I think that's something that I don't think some of them dudes are worried about losing their job. I just don't think they cared. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that they saw it as I need to jump in here and do something. I just don't think that they watched it like they were watching a screen. Yeah. It was a World Star video.
I mean, definitely. And I think that the more upsetting thing about it was hearing that she got put on leave. Of course, the guy he went to jail. That assaulted her went to jail, which is okay, cool. But the simple fact that, are you serious, McDonald's? Like, this is the reason why we don't need to be at these corporate entities, conglomerates like McDonald's that are so massive in their empire, and we continue to support them and give them money when they don't stand. Like, right then and there, you see that young woman had to defend herself. The freaking law went into effect about straws. Sorry, guy, if you didn't find out and figure out that this law just kind of went into effect January 1st. That's not her problem. And the simple fact that you were going to sit there and make it seem like she didn't know what she was talking about, because, white folks usually look at black people as you're ignorant. Of course, white people always got to be right. That's just another step of just the ignorance that gets displayed. But the simple fact, I will not go ahead and stray the target, and the targets were especially the young black brother that I saw trying to grab the sister and didn't step in, didn't say, hey, hold up, didn't do a goddamn thing. And I see that so damn often that it makes me sick. Story: when I went up to the East Coast 2 times, I was in DC and I was in New York. First time, there were some young ladies having a verbal altercation. Mind you, I had my nephews in the car and had my daughter. I saw that. I pulled around, jumped out the car, told my nephews, let's go. And we approached that guy. Dead in the situation. The sisters had it. Trust me. Yeah. They was about it. They were like, yo, whoop-de-wop. They were talking ish and they was ready. But still, my nature, my heart, my idea, my identity could not just allow myself to just laugh, drive by, or record it because the sisters had it all in pocket. And that's what some people have said on my social media as I posted this up, calling these Negroes a coward, that they need to kill themselves. They were like, well, it looked like the sister had it, and trying to be jokative about it. I don't give a damn if the sister has it. Go ahead and make sure she's protected. Second situation, in New York, literally, we was driving into Times Square. I saw this dude, Puerto Rican cat, jump out of his car. And this was not even a sister, it was a Puerto Rican young lady. Jumped out of his car, literally grabs his woman out of the passenger seat, and she's screaming, help, all this stuff. And I pulled over again, jumped out. Nephews, let's go. And I was like, yo, what's up, dude? Like, what's going on? Yeah. And she starts talking shit like, you ain't gonna hit me now. You're gonna get your ass kicked. And won't you go? Now, I put myself in jeopardy. I put my young people in jeopardy. But in the same sense, I could not have driven by this car with someone saying help, watching a man assault this woman. Now, the woman didn't come with us. The woman went back with him, still talking ish, but we calmed down the situation. And then, to be honest with you, we didn't know if this guy had anything. He could have pulled out on us right then and there, easily. But the reality was, it from my own self-being of understanding what my procedure as a man is to sit there, at least investigate, at least say, hey, you know, hopefully get this guy to understand you're not doing the right thing. I have to intercept the situation because I can't drive away or walk away knowing that it's a possibility that that person could be on the 10 o'clock news after I leave. That's going to fall into my conscience and to my heart. So it's like, men have to be better at, one, holding their aggressions for women, 2, stepping in moments. You don't got to be aggressive, but you just got to sometimes be like, hey, bro.
Just interject yourself.
Just know this ain't cool. But black men, we must do this especially because our sisters don't feel protected.
And so that segues into something that has been posted everywhere.
My mind's telling me no.
The law is telling you no.
But my body...
Yeah,
but my body.
Story of one Robert Kelly.
Wow.
And the accusations that span over 3 decades.
The docuseries.
That
woke America up. No, excuse me, woke Black America up.
Yeah, because Surviving R. Kelly, the Lifetime 3-night docuseries. Really just highlighting all the different areas of sexual misconduct, of pedophilia, statutory rape, sexual, emotional, physical abuse, all this done on underage.
Being a sexual predator.
Yes. Him
allegedly.
Underage women as well as grown women over 30 years.
Sex cult.
And so they having a field day out here with Robert Kelly.
Oh, man, it's a good old time.
And so something that comes up, you hear different sides. So some people say,
real quick, are they going to sing "I Believe I Can Fly" anymore on big stages? You think?
Okay, well, see, that's a very important point because there's a lot of calls.
That song gets used a lot.
So that's a very important part.
Churches everywhere,
and why I think that this is we talk about how far does this really want to go. There's some people who are crying for the Bill Cosby effect. They want everything he's touched because you got to remember Bill Cosby. They pulled A Different World off of Netflix and a bunch of other shows that I think he did the entire run of the season. I think of the show, he did 4 guest appearances on the entire series. But because he was attached to it, they pulled it off of TV. So they're saying we want the Bill Cosby effect. We want everything R. Kelly's touched. Mute him on the radio, pull his music, don't go to his concerts, do all that. Meanwhile, his Spotify numbers have gone up and his downloads.
Controversy sells.
Yeah, and I think there's a twofer for that. I think there's a certain percentage, a younger generation, who does not know R. Kelly. Mm-hmm. And so if you're under 30, R. Kelly doesn't have a lot of relevance to you. Mm-hmm. So I think with these docuseries becoming so popular, that there's people who are actually listening to him to see who is this guy. Mm-hmm. And so I think that then there's the other group of people. There are folks who still ride with Kels. And, yeah, so there's just like, look, we still stepping in the name of love at the summertime cookout.
Give me that honey love.
Oh yeah, happy people still playing at the graduation. Mm-hmm. I still believe I can fly at the recitals. Mm-hmm. So you got all this information out, and here's the cold piece: if you're over 35, none of this is really new information. If you're over 35, you remember hearing about the R. Kelly and the Aaliyah stuff. At bare minimum, you've heard about the Aaliyah story and you've heard about him peeing on the underage girl. That's bare minimum. And so the running quote-unquote joke about R. Kelly is him messing around with little girls and all this for years. So now we've got all these people who are enraged, who are excited, who are talking all this madness about Kelly need to be killed, he need to be locked up. But in this docuseries shows all the people and all the moving parts that were involved. From law enforcement to his management, booking agents, touring artists, parents, friends, all the, because he wasn't doing this by himself. He had a lot of moving parts that was keeping this going. So how do we really feel about Robert Kelly as a whole?
We're gonna dive in on this one, huh?
Yeah. How do we feel about the Pied Piper? How we really feel about the Pied Piper?
This might be the show that takes us to the next level, because this is really, like you said, a topic that every black person is talking about. Because there's so many layers to it. It's rooted in things that black people don't often talk about, and that's sexual abuse. Yeah. This is one of the reasons why I created She Could Be My Daughter. Just some of the things that were happening maybe 3 years ago. And, having our sisters not feeling protected, I created this group within the Voice of the Youth organization that is headed by one of the queens, Queen Dina. And we've basically done the conversations that people don't like to have. And men like us are at that table getting the brunt of it. Sexual abuse, prostitution, violence, domestic violence in the black community, these things, and even the trend of black men killing their spouse, these things that happen. But when you talk about R. Kelly, as deep as this docuseries has gone, and it stretches to really make you dislike him, as I've seen a little bit of it, I haven't watched all of it, just kind of seen a little bit, tapped in, that I don't really want to be a part of this trend of like, oh my God, you got to watch it, because I don't really feel like I got to watch it, because the Boondocks gave me enough help. Even before the Boondocks, I had a homegirl, literally, I had a homegirl in Chicago. Shouts out to my homegirl, Natalie Warren, right? And we had met in Vegas before. I was pursuing her at one particular time in my younger days. We're older now, been friends for like ever, right? And literally before this thing even hit the fan, before the smoke came, I used to talk to her back and forth about different things in California. She used to tell me different things about Chicago, and I would ask questions, and she would tell me about R. Kelly. Like, literally, I didn't ask for the information. She would just be like, yo, that dude R. Kelly is a pervert. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? She's all, my homegirl used to date him. I'm like, my homegirl? And she said, mind you, my homegirl was hella young at the time she dated him. I said, well, how old? Like 16. I'm like, what? R. Kelly? She said, this motherfucker used to drive in his Jeep or one of his cars, like through the high school, like a kid walking through the aisles of Baskin Robbins looking at the ice cream, kind of figuring out what flavor that he wants. This was before the whole shit hit the fan. And then a year or so later, after her having this conversation with me, here comes the sex tape, the child pornography. It shouldn't even be called a sex tape. It should be called child pornography, because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's what he was charged with.
Now, going into what do we feel? How should we feel? My thing and my sentiments, and it made some folks upset. I say it took a documentary, a doc series to get you Negroes upset, to get you Negroes ready to ban. I say this is another case of fake black rage. And I say this because I'm not trying to dictate when people should be mad, but I'm trying to say, when are black people going to start catching up with what we see and stop equating what we believe should change our idea about a person because of what a person has done in the past, how that person has entertained us, or how he's entertained the world. The only reason why black people gave R. Kelly the pass that he was given was, one, they probably didn't pay attention to all the heinous acts. Two, they didn't want to pay attention to all the heinous acts. And three, R. Kelly was such a genius music-wise, from putting people on, production, writing, all of the endeavors, where he was our soundtrack. He was our Marvin Gaye. We expected R. Kelly to be something that we believe we couldn't be in ourselves, and we thought R. Kelly was this noble guy, so we ran with the idea that R. Kelly could never do nothing like that because he's R. Kelly. He don't need to date young girls. He's R. Kelly. Bump and Grind could not have been about young girl because he's R. Kelly. Nah, he said age ain't nothing but a number, but he didn't mean it like that. Everybody gave the excuse because you were entertained by R. Kelly, and you wanted to believe that R. Kelly was someone different than what he displayed, because if you look at the lyrics and you listen to the songs, he told us exactly who the fuck he was. We chose not to listen to him.
So once again, I think that part of that, I think there's folks who just didn't want to believe because there was 40-year-old women who was trying to give it to him. So he's like, he don't need to be worried about those little children because all these women are throwing themselves at him everywhere he goes. But I also think it's a percentage. I said all the time, I said, if you ever want to get back in the good graces when you do something wrong, all you need to do is what people loved you for in the first place. You know, it's why Kobe was trying to beat that rape case on the court. They would talk mess about him in the morning. He dropped 40 that night. They were cheering for him in the stables. R. Kelly was getting roasted in the news. Then he dropped that Chocolate Factory. And when Ignition hit, a lot of folks started looking the other way when all that negative stuff was talking about.
I think it was before. I think that Trap the Closet was before that. That's when people turned the other way.
No. I'm saying the Chocolate Factory is when people loved him again. That Chocolate Factory album.
But I'm saying is, did Trap the Closet, did it come before that?
After, I believe. Well, they're pretty close to it.
Yeah, because I think that Closet situation.
Yeah, but I'm saying the Ignition remix was playing in the clubs everywhere. So as much as they were talking about him in the news, I don't know if you remember the clubs back at that time period. Yeah. But that Chocolate Factory album, when Ignition was playing in the clubs, it was playing on the radio. There was even radio DJs who would make a joke either before or after the song, but the song stayed in heavy rotation.
There was everybody that made a joke.
Well,
everybody was making a joke about the video, the sex tape, and
yeah, but that's my point. So my point is that you got a bunch of people whom I don't think that it was necessarily. I don't think that it could be him because he's this guy. I just don't think they cared. For the same way that there was a percent, I just don't think that I think there's a good percentage of the people, it did not hit their radar to care because it wasn't their daughter, it wasn't their sister, it wasn't their mom, it wasn't their auntie, their cousin. It was them people over there that I don't know, and it was just another story out there. I don't remember anybody who was deeply hurt, offended, or upset when that sex tape stuff came out or the Aaliyah stuff came out.
I mean, I first of all, I couldn't understand the Aaliyah shit, and I thought that was a joke. I thought it was like not necessarily a joke, but I didn't think that could be real. Like, how the hell you going to... I just was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And there wasn't substantial evidence. Now we're living in this social media crazed world where we don't have to worry about media giving the evidence. You can kind of figure out your own thing. I just believe that culturally, I'm going to be very clear, that culturally, this thing that R. Kelly did ain't anything new under the sun. The only reason why the outrage is there is because of R. Kelly and all of the details of what he has done. I believe that if he was just effing some young girls and then they have a cult-like kind of situation going on, that I think that people would kind of, he has a thing for young girls, keep it moving, right? If he was giving them flowers, putting them on, I think that more of the abuse more of the demonic things and stages of how it went from 1 minute, you're telling this young girl, I'm going to help you get a record deal. The next minute, she's sworn in calling you daddy and having to ask you if you can use the phone, if she can use the phone and she can eat. So I believe that the culture of what black people have to face is, here's the thing. A lot of Negroes was doing what R. Kelly was doing when R. Kelly was doing it before everybody knew. Because when I was growing up, older guys picking up homegirls that I knew or girls I liked from high school, driving in the cars.
22-year-olds picking up 15-year-olds.
Like this was it was just a thing. And when I was living in the Bay Area in Marin, there was a group called Sindo. And they actually got charged. My homegirl, I ain't going to say her name because she might be listening to the show. My homegirl actually blew the case open because they was having sex with her and she was 14 years old, but she looked like she was a grown-ass woman. So here are these things that culturally, I believe that more folks was doing this. I mean, if you go look at it and do the research, look at Elvis Presley, Jerry Lewis. I mean, there were people that were
Marvin
doing
Gaye,
this.
Mick Jagger, David Bowie.
It was cultural norm. The reason why there's now this rush to now convince ourselves that this is just a demonic situation is because social media now has a display to sit there and destroy a person that thinks anything different than what Johnny Public is saying. Johnny Public, the Me Too movement, is saying R. Kelly is a piece of shit. If you think any differently, you're a piece of shit too. But here's what I'm saying. I've already felt R. Kelly was a piece of shit because you didn't have to tell me, okay, Barry, come watch this video. I looked at that shit. Are you serious? Man, get the shit out of my face. Because that wasn't me. But the complicit bias that folks run around with and pretend like, you know what, now I'm going to be the hero of the day because I'm going to out him. Where were all these people at when we knew what it was, but still were going ahead buying tickets to the Thunder Valley? Where were those people at when BET sat there and gave this motherfucker like a Lifetime Achievement Award? Where were all these parents at talking to their story and making sure that folks really knew what was going on? I stopped fucking with R. Kelly when I saw that, okay, that nigga got some issues because I heard about the young girls. And on top of that, my homegirl told me. So I'm telling people my story. But here's the reality of where we were before social media hit. If you're going out talking bad about somebody, where's the receipts? No one's going to believe you because they're going to believe the image of that person is bigger than what you're saying that person might have done.
Maybe. And I think that there's a percentage of people that applies to. But like I said, I think there's a percentage that don't care.
No.
Here's why.
No.
Because we have people who sit around and sing along the songs like Rick James. When she turns 14, I'll be waiting. Though it doesn't hit their radar. You got Belle Biv DeVoe, backstage, underage, adolescent. How you doing?
Fine. She reply.
Doesn't hit our radar. You had
hit my radar.
I'm talking about we not an individual.
It's culture, brother. But it's the culture.
But what I'm saying, that's my point. So if you,
but that doesn't mean that you don't care.
No, what I'm talking about caring means the sense that it hits your spirit enough to where you're like, this is wrong and want to do something about it. Because nobody was squawking when Wanye from Boyz II Men was with Brandy when she was underage. He was in his early 20s.
Yeah, but you have to remember the
she
difference.
Was a minor.
And that's why I sat there and said, hold on real quick. The difference is because there was a culture
that's my point.
That. But that doesn't mean that you didn't care. The reason why people are creating this movement now is because women were abused. Women were being held on against their own will. Things started happening, and when you're being charged with 14 counts of sexual misbehavior, and for the people that said he got acquitted, we all know our justice system is corrupt. And listen, he got tried in Chicago 6 years after the fact. So stop it. You know what I'm saying? So let's not talk about justice system. They let OJ go, and we all know OJ had something to do with Nicole's murder, allegedly. But now going back to R. Kelly, that does not say that people didn't care. I believe that it was just a cultural thing. Folks wasn't tripping because it was societal norm.
That's my point. When I say,
but that doesn't mean they didn't care.
Then hear what I'm saying. I'm saying
you're saying they don't care.
Hear what I'm saying. If I say they don't care, it means in the sense of I hear this, I see this, it doesn't hit me saying this is wrong because of your point. It's culture. I see this everywhere. I hear this all the time. To see an older man with a younger girl, I may look at it like, but it's not outrage. It's not, I'm not screaming at the screen. I'm not, get this evil person from
because
in front
almost
of me.
everybody did it.
But that's my point. That's what I'm saying when they say don't care. It's one of those things of where...
Nah, that's it. When you say you don't care, that means like, I know that it's wrong. I don't give a fuck about it. I'm not going to do anything about it.
No.
People didn't think that it was wrong. No. People
don't
didn't
care
think
is indifference.
Nah.
That's what don't care means.
Nah, that's what folks will be. The way you're breaking it down is one way, but how folks would look at it is solely different. They would look at it as, I don't care, like I know it's wrong, but I'm gonna still do it anyway.
No, I'm saying don't care what the word mean. It's an indifference to what they're seeing in front of them.
But you're saying the word, I get that, I hear it. But what I'm saying is that if that was the case, then folks would have reacted like that. Folks won't look at it as don't care like that. Folks will see it a total different way, even though the definition is exactly what
I'm saying is they didn't care that Elvis was with Priscilla when she was underage.
Cultural no.
But what I'm saying, that's the point. They don't care. It wasn't one of those, she's young, there was no outrage because it was common. So it was like, okay. People didn't care when Mick Jagger was with young girls. They didn't care when Steven Tyler was with young girls. They didn't care when Marvin Gaye was with a young girl. They didn't care when it was one of those things of like, okay, famous singer, she's young, whatever. That's what I mean by don't care. So if you see something in the same way that we saw 15-year-olds who had 21-year-olds who were waiting in front of the high school, there wasn't this whole pedophile point him out, screaming, what's this old dude being here? More people were salty that he's the one that's getting her while we on our way over to the bus.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I don't care. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I look at it as it was culture. I don't look at it as on a sense of I don't care because of A, B, and C. I look at it as cultural norm. Society has moved in a different direction. Society is now opening up things that before we were just kind of like, this just was what it was. Like, so basically, if I was dating a 16-year-old and I was an 18-year-old, we're both in high school, like, people are going to call me R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my thing, it was like, well, that's what we just did. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like, oh my God, she's 16. It was just like, well, shit, everybody's dating.
Okay, we're saying the same thing. Freshman. I think you may not like the term "don't care," but we're saying the same thing.
But I hear what you're saying. But I mean, in the terms of "don't care," it's kind of like people just turned a blind eye to someone being raped, and I don't believe that they did that. They just did. Folks, really, to be honest with you, the reason why people are so kind of in their feelings about this whole R. Kelly thing is that they accepted the fact that he was having sex with some young girls, but they didn't understand the volume and how deep the scars were from the women and what he was doing. Not only was this Negro married, but this Negro was holding young women against their own will.
I get that. I'm saying if everybody had the information then that they do now, I think the response would have been different. I'm saying just the idea of seeing older men with underage girls was not a radar hit for a lot of people.
Not at all.
It wasn't something. That's what I'm referring to saying don't care. But there's people out there now who are doing the fake I care. And a good example of
fake black rage.
Well, and not just black, but the fake point of care. And a good example of, you had artists who were coming out. You got like John Legend coming out. But here's why this is important. So you had him coming out voicing his opinion. Then you had other artists like Tank, artists
Charlamagne
like
the God.
The ones that I'm going to specifically, and to show why there's not as much care. So you had
now when you say don't care on them guys, I'm gonna tell you be with you 100. So
artists. So you had artist Omarion. He was in the group B2K, all that. So here's the big.
Omarion said something.
Yes, this is my point. So they used to have this Scream tour once upon a time. B2K, Mario, Bow Wow. Yeah. If a particular bracket, it was a big tour. If you're a little older, you're like, well, I don't care about none of them. But there was a huge tour. Right, it was a really big deal. So they're all going out together again now. Yeah. And so Omarion spoke out talking about this R. Kelly stuff, and he's like, you know what? I think it's wrong, and we stand by all the women who were hurt, and we're going out on tour, but we know our fans would be upset if we don't do all our hits. So after this tour, we're not going to do any of the songs done by R. Kelly because R. Kelly wrote their biggest hits. And so this is what I'm talking about when we talk about where folks care, where they don't care. Because if people want the Bill Cosby effect, this is just something to run down. If you want everything R. Kelly touched and you want it done, if you really care, like if you're really mad, if you're really in your feelings, if you really like everything this man ever did needs to go. R. Kelly wrote songs for Aaliyah, Ty Dolla $ign, Beanie Siegel, Changing Faces, Maxwell, Nick Cannon, Tony Braxton, Bryson Tiller, Casey and JoJo, Joe, Britney Spears, Tamia, Destiny's Child, Michael Jackson, B2K, Chris Brown, Usher, Black, the Isley Brothers, Celine Dion, Charlie Wilson, Genuine, Jennifer Hudson. Do you want everything that this man has touched to go away today? Are you willing to do that? I don't think these folks are.
And that's why he was able to move around with immunity.
And I think they're still that way.
And the industry and Johnny Public are two different things, right? The industry has secrets upon secrets that we're now finding out. It's being revealed because really you can't hide nothing on social media. If a person feels some way about you, instead of them sending you letters, instead of them trying to call you 100 times, they'll be like, you know what? I'll just go on social media and blast you out. So airing out the dirty laundry is something that people do more often than needs to be. Now, in that same case, with an industry full of skeletons and snakes and all type of other demonic behavior, how can I call this man out or this woman out when I got my own skeletons in my own closet? Yeah. So this is the reason why he was able. And then, of course, when you have the law system that says, well, shoot, 14 counts, none of this shit, he got convicted of none of it. We take the value of entertainment and hoping that Johnny Public won't find out the truth. The unfortunate thing about the downside of social media, now anyone can be an advocate, anyone can be a reporter, and if you got some dirt, anyone can expose you. And even if it's a lie, the lie is more entertaining than the truth. The unfortunate part about R. Kelly in this now Me Too movement, no matter if there was consensual sex with a majority of these women, the 3 or 2 women that are saying this is what happened with me when I was with R. Kelly negates any kind of other situation that R. Kelly got, because the folks have already basically said, R. Kelly, this is who we believe you are. R. Kelly, this is what you've always been. And now you got folks who are waiting in the walk of this whole situation and that don't want to be put in the burning house that is R. Kelly and staying the fuck away from him, because it took a documentary, it took a docuseries to kind of interpret what a lot of us who was already hearing the information understood. So no one wants to be attached to R. Kelly. So you're going to see a lot more people fade away. But basically, it's all a one big gang, and almost all these folks got their hands dirty somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not referring to the artists. So I'm referring to Johnny Public. The ones who were sitting there saying that I want all his music pulled. I want everything that he did gone. This man needs to go away. Nobody buy another ticket. Nobody go to another show.
I think that again with that Johnny Public, now they're talking more of that instrument. Now they're playing a violin, but before the documentary came, niggas wasn't charged up like this.
No, that's what I'm talking about right now today. For all the people who got a full tank, talking about we need to get rid of everything else. Are you willing to get rid of everything else?
You're going to get
them songs that you like that you didn't even know he wrote.
Your closet's going to be cleaned.
Yeah,
for sure. Your music closet's going to be cleaned.
Your iTunes is about to really take a major hit.
For sure.
You're about to delete everything that he had involvement in.
And you know what? And in the theory of this, if people would just take away the artist from the person in real life, I think that you could kind of move and love what you love behind closed doors. I don't want to personally hear Step in the Name of Love in any place I go. Every time someone puts on R. Kelly, I look at them and be like, what are you doing? Turn that bullshit off. Every time. But if you want to listen to it in your own confines of your home, do as you may. I think that when you fall in love with these celebrities, the idea of these celebrities being so perfect and being everything that you think you should be, but you can't be, but you really can strive to be, it takes people away from, that person just a great genius at this kind of music, but he's a shitty person in life.
Yeah, he's good at his job.
Yeah, so stop trying to equate both of them as if they're the product of something that you imagine in your own mind, when in reality is that you don't know this person. You just know the music, not the person. But with R. Kelly's music, we was getting to know the person. A lot of us believe, just like when you listen to Frank Ocean, when you're hearing those songs, you're believing that it's a woman, but it was actually a guy he was talking about.
Yeah, and like I said, there's a lot of people out there who, like something that was said about this. They said, why is R. Kelly not in jail? And some woman had posted something which I thought was very profound. And there's a lot of black women who feel this way. They said the reason why R. Kelly is not in jail is because he had enough sense to only abuse black women.
Oh, most definitely.
But I'm saying, I think that there's something very deep to that. Bill Cosby is in prison right now for the one white woman.
White woman.
For the one white woman.
That's it.
All them 60 whatever that came out, all that talking, remove 59 of them. He's in prison. He's in prison right now for that one white woman.
O.J. Simpson went to jail.
O.J. did 9 years for that white woman that he got off from killing. Exactly. Not the dude he stuck up in the hotel room.
If you want to get away with any act of terror in America, attack a black woman, and you will be able to walk free like a whistle, and no one will even bat an eye, because the fact that we're sitting here talking about R. Kelly in 2019, and people really rolled that wave from the Jay-Z's of the world, and because he ain't off the hook either, because guess what? After Jay-Z, because this is what happened when Jay-Z and him did the album, all the stuff hit the fan, and then they kind of waited, and they did another album. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, okay, well, we can say that he's vindicated. And here's the thing, don't play me like I'm dumb by saying that was my brother in the video. Like, after you say something like that, you're basically a lying piece of crap, right? But because all Negroes was doing some old type of shit, had a little young piece somewhere in their archive, and I'm sure people are like shaking in their boots, paying as much as they need to pay to make sure that person stays quiet. You have now everybody wanting to be vindicated, saying that R. Kelly is this, R. Kelly is that, but everyone in the industry, including people in Johnny Public, was entertained and okay with R. Kelly, because now you want to utilize the fact that the justice system vindicated him. But we all know, if we're talking about the justice system that never vindicates black people, you have to understand R. Kelly is worth a lot more outside doing the work that you just listed than he is being in jail. So what do you think is going to end up happening?
And then you look at that Jay-Z situation. That album was a major jump off to the fall of Rockefeller between Dame and Jay.
You know what? Before you go into that, but it's so funny because I listened to that Dame Dash interview, right? But then I looked at, remember the Fiesta song?
Yeah.
And I saw the video. I'm like, well, Dame said he didn't want to have anything to do with R. Kelly, but he was still in the video. And even though the allegations didn't come out, you were still dating Aaliyah, and you knew he was who he was.
Well, my point going into that is that if you say, why would somebody like Jay be linked to that? His issue with R. Kelly was not R. Kelly's behavior, because people forget that Jay-Z was 27, was he with 15-year-old Foxy Brown.
Is that true, or was it kind of like rumor?
Let's just go ahead and say that more likely than not.
I mean, I believe.
And so
allegations, but I believe that it.
I think it's more likely than not. And so when you look at a certain behavior and it doesn't hit your radar as wrong as some people think it should, you know what I mean? When you can see the dollar signs, we'll weed that out.
Well, here's the thing about it also with Jay-Z. I remember him talking about, he was looking at the young Beyonce, plotting on when she got legal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay.
And groomed her up and waited until she was 21 before he went official. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not coincidence that them two linked up to do a tour. Something that I thought was funny is that R. Kelly's birthday's tomorrow, but he shares his birthday with Elvis Presley and David Bowie.
Get the freak out.
Two dudes who both had good music in their respective musical quote unquote genius, depending upon if you get down with their genre, but also linked to underage girls
and boys.
If you out there, watch out for them January 8th, baby.
Yeah, it's just a society that I'm happy has woken up. So I'm thankful for it. I believe that a lot of this is happening. It's kind of gone unchecked, and it's kind of been a norm. And that's what, for folks that we're not saying, and I think that we might have to go into a second part of this, because there's other stuff we have to kind of unload about all the people that kind of stood around, like from when I listened to some of the doc about Sparkle, how she brought the actual girl that was in the video was her niece, right? Yeah. But then at the same particular time, you know, folks not saying enough, and actually his wife, like how his wife is still holds the name of Kelly, like, you know, it's just different realms, but this is not taking away from the victims, and the victims are the ones that we need to kind of focus on, because any young impressionable girl, for those who are sitting there saying, well, these bitches knew what they was doing, one, you got to think about it. It's up to us men to sit there and say, you know what, let me pass on that. Because what do you think a 14 or 15-year-old girl who's in ooh-ah of this superstar who wants to be like, oh my God, I'm dating with R. Kelly. Oh my God, this, that. What do you think they're going to do? They're not even, their brains haven't articulated what is right and what is wrong. They haven't even matured enough to understand the volume of what they're getting themselves into. Of course, they're going to go and kind of just be swayed by the swag, be swayed by the idea. That doesn't mean that for us men, it is right. So for Negroes sitting there saying that these women knew and they had consent, okay, all good. But it's up to us men to sit there and say, baby girl, age is a lot more different than just saying age ain't nothing but a number. It is something, and you're not ready. Let me get to you when you mature, live a little bit, and you could do the shit the right way.
Yeah. Would you let a 12-year-old drive your car?
No.
No. Would you let a 10-year-old hold your firearm that's loaded?
No.
Would you empty out all the money in your bank account and let a 13-year-old take it with them to school?
No.
All these things are great ideas that children come up with, but the onus is on the adult to make the responsible decision. So it doesn't matter if she's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, she's throwing it at you. She's doing all these things that make you think, oh no, she's a willing participant in this little adventure. The onus is on you, the adult. Yeah. The same way that a 12-year-old, man, I can drive. Yeah. Come on, let me get the keys. Yeah. Let me do all that. You're like, no. Let me get this. No, because you're the adult and you do the responsible thing. And here's a sidebar to that too. If you're a grown ass man, that she wanted it, she was this and that, only matters if you're attracted to children. Yeah. Because if you're like
how you even get into that conversation?
Where I'm at, a 21-year-old is young to me. When I see a 21-year-old, I'm like, child, please. Yeah, and she's grown legal adult. 21-year-olds are like kids to me. So, because I'm not into children. Nah. And for these dudes who are 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and in this Negro's case, 48, when he had a teenage girlfriend, that's not. Shit. Yeah, that's not her. She was throwing it. She was this and that. That's on you.
That's a pursuit. That's a pursuit.
That's on you. And I think that I know there are a bunch of layers to get into, and all the people who are all involved.
We might have to do a mini series on this shit because there's so many different things. Because I want to tap in on how Negroes who are now chanting "Get R. Kelly" were hosting up Hugh Hefner when Hugh Hefner died. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. There's so many different layers to this situation that are still watching Woody Allen movies. You know what I mean? There's so many different layers. There's not a layer of, this is a plan. Guess what? What black people have to understand in America, it's always a plan if you got money and millions and you got power and access to take you down. Don't give them the tools to do it, right? You know what I'm saying? So this is R. Kelly's mistake, that he continued to be in the public eye like an OJ, that you, like a Bill Cosby, that you kind of wanted this thing to eventually end up and blowing up in your face. And the last piece I want to sit there and say, with all of this stuff going on, he was married with 3 kids. Where the fuck was his wife at?
Reaping the benefits of the money that he was bringing home.
Because, like, where is your wife at? So forgive me for feeling a little bit like, the broads are kind of an opportunist, because at the end of the day, I do understand you might have been getting abused. I do understand there were certain things, you wanted it probably for the best benefit of the kids. But sometimes you got to step out of that, all that I'm getting this and, well, it's not that bad. Oh, maybe I should step out of that and come forth. Don't come forth when everybody else is coming forth, and own up to the shit that you did, because I just can't believe that she just stood there and just shot and didn't participate in the fuckery, unless R. Kelly is a smooth criminal and had this whole exotic lifestyle outside of his wife knowing anything.
Yeah, there was a lot of layers to all the people who were involved, from all the people who were involved with the label, the tour buses, the family. You had the woman who said she would participated in a threesome with a minor. You had the people who said that they witnessed, sex on the tour bus with a minor. You've got
like all this stuff. Like, why didn't all this stuff come out after the trial? Like, why wasn't people going to the radio saying, "Here's the real truth"? Nobody came out. People were paid. And in this area of social media where instant gratification is the norm, where everybody wants to become an instant celebrity through likes, shares, and how the information gets generated and getting interviews, it's almost as if people forgot their morality. And now that they have a spotlight, they're like, well, I'm going to go ahead and do the right thing.
Yeah, well, back then he was touring more. So
money slowed up. Is that what you're saying?
That's a big, huge part of it. So he was touring more. That's the biggest.
That's what happens when you can't keep paying your people. They don't stay in line.
I think what it is that they aged out. You start talking about security. You start talking about the girls around. You start talking about backup dancers. They aged out. They were no longer on the payroll,
and they need that check.
And then and so when you have all these moving parts and you have all these people who were involved. First and foremost, there is absolutely, positively nothing wrong with coming after the head of the snake. If you want to sit there and start everything begins and ends with Robert Kelly, by all means, go after him wholeheartedly if that is so what you truly feel. But I would ask is if that's what you truly feel, because it's real easy to say, to get caught up in the moment, to get caught up in the rhetoric and what's on social media and TV and say that this is it.
Jump on the bandwagon.
But then when it comes time to make some real world choices like Omarion, I'm still going to do my R. Kelly song because that's my biggest hit. I'm still going to go this because I already got my tickets.
Like people who still ran to concerts before this whole shit hit the fan.
Yeah, and there are people who already bought tickets for future concerts. That's part of the weekend. I mean, I already spent the money. And so if you're not really on it, then you might want to do some personal reflection before you really get up on it like that. And for all the people that were involved, go after Kelly by all means. But all these other folks, all the backup dancers, the security guards, the booking agents, the singers, I did artist management marketing for recording artists. I had artists that I work with who I didn't ask how he made his money because I never wanted to have a conversation with somebody about how he made it. Though I know how he made his money. Yeah. You can't be that involved with an artist and not know what they do because you have to be accountable for where they are and how to reach them and where they're at. So the fact is that all these people who are now trying to get on the right side of history before all of this stuff comes down, please believe the best thing I ever heard when they talk about Bill Cosby and this Me Too, y'all too. Yeah. Because just because you confessing now don't mean that y'all two shouldn't be joining in when it comes to court time. These are real deep subjects that we got to get into. A lot of layers within the community who are not just celebrities, who are not just stars. There's an Uncle Robert in every family. There's an Uncle Robert in every community. There's an Uncle Robert, at the back room at grandma's house that ain't supposed to be left around by the kids by themselves. But he's always a great singer around Christmas time when they get to caroling. We got to bring all these folks before the light. We have to address all these things and really address the healing process that needs to happen with the victims that fall victim to this stuff. The ones who are abused, the mental, physical, emotional, sexual. That's going to be stuff that they're going to deal with forever, long after the music stops. And this is stuff that we have to make sure that we're diligent about, that we are consistent about, that we do something about, and definitely say something about.
Yeah, last piece I want to say on this is deadbeat fathers, I don't want to hear your shit. I don't want to hear you talking about this. I don't want to hear you bringing this up. I don't want to hear you have an opinion about this shit. Stay the fuck down, shut your mouth, and take care of your child.
You help create the breeding ground for this type of behavior.
I mean, that's the kind of thing about Negroes who are on that bullshit. I don't even hear it. Don't speak it. Just leave it alone before skeletons come out.
This has been the Say Something podcast.
Barry Accius, Facebook. Barry Accius, Twitter. At Team Voy, as well as blackblueprints.com. Blackblueprints with a Z.com.
I'm Jermaine Morris on Facebook. Every other social media platform is at J Morris CEO. This has been the Say Something podcast.
I think we're going to have to come with a part 2. Are you going to watch the docuseries?
I've been caught up on the highlights, but I have to set some time aside.
I think we might need to unpack it. Maybe bring some women to get their perspective on it.
We can break into that stuff.
No doubt.
It's been the Say Something podcast, and until next show,
yes, sir.
We will holler at you later.
Peace.